Greetings superior beings, greetings supreme being, welcome to the future channel on YouTube for universal peace. This is the broadcast Trump, Iran, Macron equals nuclear deal in danger, useful, World War III prevention. So what do you all think, is the Iran nuclear deal useful or is it dangerous? Is it better for universal peace to keep the Iran nuclear deal or to get rid of the nuclear deal and impose sanctions, or even to attack Iran, which would lead to a world war, third Jesuit world war, if we are to believe what President Medvedev said in Haaretz. Attack on Iran will endanger the entire world, not would or could, but will. So there are also quite some pictures, quite an amount of pictures. But I want to start with the speech engine, with a little story for universal peace, and then study some, or research, or read some articles. Actually, I will be reviewing a CNN article and some others, CBS perhaps, and some others. So, it depends on when dinner is served. So, let's start reading.
The decision to upgrade the status of opus-dei appears to be part of an overall strategy to counter the influence of Jesuits and other progressive clerics, that it's still dealing, Lucifer. The CIA also did Jonestown. Injection marks behind the left shoulder blade indicate they were injected with cyanide. It was not Kool-Aid at all. We can't do anything but party. Perhaps they'll be able to make water from air. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Boom. How to prevent a two-state solution and/or nuclear agreement. World War I. Have an agreement with the Russians, the allies of Iran and Palestine, before imposing sanctions. Do not bomb Iran to avoid the Third Jesuit World War. 2. Iranian officials must allow inspections in all of their facilities as agreed upon in the additional protocol to the nuclear agreement Iran signed. The IAEA was not supplied with a list of suspect countries they must first have before being able to do any inspections. Therefore Iran cannot be non-compliant yet. It's not Iran that would not be non-compliant but the Iranian leaders responsible that have signed the agreement. 3. U.S. officials should check if the IAEA has been given a list with the suspect site on it, if an inspection attempt was made and if the suspect site has really refused the IAEA's request for inspection. To avoid World War III, use sanctions and have an agreement with the Russians before taking any action.
Okay, so we're on the IAEA.org website. I'm searching for a particular part. Is there anywhere in the agreement or in the protocol to the agreement, safeguards agreement, etc., nuclear deal, is it written anywhere that they have to allow inspections of all their facilities? Because at the moment I'm not so sure. I thought in the past, because of other articles that I read, that they have to allow inspections in all their facilities as long as the IAEA has been given a list of suspect sites. And for as far as I know, they haven't even attempted to do these inspections, so the question is if they would be refused and if that would be in violation of the current agreement. If you know, please let me know via Skype, ProLogic999, or leave a comment. Please like and subscribe, and all my videos and all my channels, Facebook pages and blog pages are all found on or via universalpeace.jimdo.com.
Measures under additional protocols. State provision of information about, and IAEA inspector access to, all parts of a state's nuclear fuel cycle, including uranium mines, fuel fabrication and enrichment plants, and nuclear waste sites, as well as to any other location where nuclear material is or may be present. State provision of information on, and IAEA short notice access to, all buildings on a nuclear site. The protocol provides for IAEA inspectors to have complementary access to assure the absence of undeclared nuclear material or to resolve questions or inconsistencies in the information a state has provided about its nuclear activities. Advance notice in most cases is at least 24 hours. The advance notice is shorter, at least 2 hours, for access to any place on a site that is sought in conjunction with design information verification or ad hoc or routine inspections at that site. The activities carried out during complementary access could include examination of records, visual observation, environmental sampling, utilization of radiation detection and measurement devices, and the application of seals and other identifying and tamper indicating devices. What is the Additional Protocol to Safeguards Agreements? The Additional Protocol is a legal document granting the IAEA complementary inspection authority to that provided in underlying safeguards agreements. A principal aim is to enable the IAEA inspectorate to provide assurance about both declared and possible undeclared activities. Under the protocol, the IAEA is granted expanded rights of access to information and sites. An overview of the strengthened safeguards measures under additional protocols and comprehensive safeguards agreements follows. Measures under additional protocols. Access to any place on a site that is sought in conjunction with design information verification or ad hoc or routine inspections at that site. Advance notice. IAEA Safeguards Overview, Comprehensive Safeguards Agreements and Additional Protocols. IAEA.org. psnews.com/live news. cbsns.com/live news. Trump issues warning to Iran. We're going to see what happens on the 12th, but Iran threatens us in any way they will pay a price like few countries have ever paid, he warned. It will be possible to do a new deal with solid foundations because this is a deal with decayed foundations. It's a bad deal, it's a bad structure, it's falling down and it should have never ever been made, said Mr. Trump on the Iran deal. He added, I blame Congress, I blame a lot of people for it. But it should have never been made. Macron on Plan B for Iran. I always said there is the JPOA, but we needed to add 3 pillars post 2025. I don't know what President Trump will decide on the JPOA and it is his responsibility, said Macron when asked again on the Iran deal. I'm not saying we're moving from one deal to another, I'm saying it's one aspect of the problem, Macron said. He added, I've never been critical of the JPOA, because I think we can usefully add to it. Macron again urged adding limitations on Iran's ballistic missile program and limiting Iran's regional influence to a potential new deal. It's about respecting the sovereignty of the states in the region, added Macron. It's not about tearing apart an agreement but building something new that will cover all of our concerns. President Trump meanwhile said the U.S. will not continue to pay for help in the Middle East. He said that too often the U.S. pays the brunt of the cost for issues in the region. Meanwhile, CBSNews.com. Trump on Syria. Mr. Trump said he'd love to get out of Syria but would not provide an updated timeline for withdrawing troops after the coalition strike in the region. He touted the military's response in the region in driving out terrorists, saying we've obliterated ISIS in Iraq and Syria.
Visit universalpeace.jimdo.com 999 per logic 999.blog2blog.nl. Visit universalpeace.jimdo.com 999 per logic 999.blog2blog.nl. universecreator.weebly.com doctorna.wordpress.com for universal peace.
universalpeace.jimdo.com.
Universal Peace now. universalpeace.jimdo.com.
Obama says inspectors get access in Iran. Is it true? Iran says military sites are off limits for nuclear inspections despite U.S. pressure. August 30, 2017. LAtimes.com. Iran limits inspectors' access to suspicious sites, by Blaise Misistal. Friday, July 17, 2015. Bipartisanpolicy.org. Yet, one critical provision of the JPOA puts unexpected limitations on inspectors' access to certain facilities by requiring them to notify Iran first if they suspect a site might be being used for illicit nuclear activity and then undergoing a long process in order to gain entry to that site. This obstacle to inspections is worrying for several reasons. Iran could delay inspectors for as long as 54, not the commonly reported 24, days. The burden of proof is on Latvia. It chills intelligence sharing, it discourages long shots, it does not address a parallel enrichment program, and it could allow for weaponization activities. One critical provision of the JPOA puts unexpected limitations on inspectors' access to certain facilities by requiring them to notify Iran first if they suspect a site might be being used for illicit nuclear activity and then undergoing a long process in order to gain entry to that site. Being used. Trump hints that Ronny Jackson might withdraw VA nomination amid criticism. New York Times 1 hour ago. Related coverage scramble for answers as Ronny Jackson allegations threaten to upend nomination. Highly cited CNN 19 hours ago. Trump on embattled VA nominee. It's totally his decision. CNN 1 hour ago. Trump gives cover for VA nominee to withdraw the Hill. 1 hour ago. Senate to postpone confirmation hearing for Ronny Jackson to head Veterans Affairs. White House officials told highly cited Washington Post 8 hours ago. Trump suggests embattled nominee for VA post dropout because of ugly process. In depth. Washington Post 39 meters ago. Audit the Federal Reserve. EU superstate, Deutsche Welle, EU needs Macron vision, but not his superstate. Deutsche Welle, April 20, 2018. Macron's EU superstate dream crumbles as Italy stand in the way of reform. Express.co.uk, April 20, 2018. How to prepare for World War III and what you should do if there's a WW3 nuclear attack. The Sun, November 13, 2016.
Of course, a radiological water filter and storable food is always good to have for these types of nuclear emergencies, also meltdowns. So you could argue there is no excuse not to be prepared in a civilized society like your government is.
Iran nuclear deal, Haaretz. The one thing that may stop Trump from canceling the Iran nuclear deal. Haaretz 10 hours ago. The Guardian. Iran threatens to withdraw from nuclear weapons treaty. The Guardian 1 hour ago. RollingStone.com. John Oliver talks irreversible damage if Trump ends Iran nuclear deal. RollingStone.com, April 23, 2018. Related coverage. John Oliver trolls Trump by purchasing pro-Iran nuclear deal. Ads on Sean Hannity's Fox News show. Highly cited Daily Beast, April 23, 2018. Crude oil rises as Trump calls Iran nuclear deal insane. Seeking Alpha 3 hours ago.
Mr. Rothschild has sold US assets a while ago and bought cancer oil in South America, not in the Middle East. I did a broadcast about that on the now removed channel, but you can find the information online, but that's a while ago. Dabu 7 also reported about it. He may also be controlled the position. And sometimes control the position is recognizable because they get video material that they don't just gather but get from special sources. And sometimes it's some kind of lie that they told. I might do another broadcast about control the position. Alex Jones, David Icke, Christopher Green, especially Kevin Annett and Eric John Phelps of Vatican Assassins. They are control the position, so they mix important truths that they want to hide and believe, make people believe of, that they're insane lies or conspiracy theories. They pretend of these, they mix these truths with lies like the earth is flat or shape-shifting reptilians or other BS to be able to claim you are an insane conspiracy theorist and it's okay if we electroshock you to death to depopulate the earth. So ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, electroshock should be banned, and I perhaps should mention it in every broadcast until they ban it actually, because it always increases the victim's suicide risk and it always causes the electroshock victims brain damages seen on the MRI scans on wildestcults.com, etc. So that should be banned. Okay. Well, we could read some of that, of course. Well, if it's such an insane deal, then why did the previous president or whatever sign it then? Or didn't he? See, I don't even know that. I don't believe in electronic voting. So I don't believe any leaders elected with electronic voting are actually the leaders. Electronic voting is an impossibility because of wireless energy of Nikola Tesla. So that's not the same as cancer, cell phone radiation. It's on politico.com.
Trump defiant over Iran deal as deadline approaches. Emmanuel Macron called for a new deal to complement the 2015 nuclear agreement. By Nahal Tousi and Quint Forgy. April 24, 2018. President Donald Trump and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani exchanged threats over the Iran nuclear deal Tuesday, with Trump warning that Tehran will face big problems if it restarts its nuclear program and Rouhani saying America will face severe consequences if it abandons the agreement.
Testing my shortcut key here. So let's watch that video that's with it. Then I can mute my microphone with Control-Shift.
Mr. President, they're all saying what a great relationship we have, and they're actually correct. It's not fake news. Finally, it's not fake news. So it's a great honor that you're here. But we do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that little piece of dandruff off. That little piece. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect. So it is really great to be with you, and you are a special friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I want to thank President Trump and your country, your people, for this very warm welcome, this wonderful ceremony. Indeed, we, both of us, just reminded how great our common history is, and that each time we work together in order to protect liberty and freedom and our peace. And we have a lot of challenges ahead of us regarding our two countries: terrorism, security, and a lot of other issues we will discuss. So we have a lot of work to be done together. Right. But I'm very, very honored and very pleased, because whatever the context could be, this relationship is stronger than the events. And on top of it, we have an excellent personal relationship. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What would you like to say about Iran during your talks with the President?
Well, we'll be talking about Iran, and we'll be talking about many things, terrorism generally, but we will be discussing the Iran deal. I know the President wants to speak to me about that. We'll be discussing probably the Paris Accord and various other things. So we're going to we have not much time to do a lot of discussing, but a lot of things will work out. We have got a very special relationship. I don't imagine it's ever been closer in the history of our two countries, and that's a long and beautiful history. So we will be talking about a lot of different subjects, but the Iran deal will be one of them.
Are you willing to consider staying in the Iran deal?
We're going to be talking about it. We'll see. I mean, people know my views on the Iran deal. It was a terrible deal. It should have never, ever been made. We could have made a good deal or a reasonable deal. The Iran deal is a terrible deal. We paid $150 billion. We gave $1.8 billion in cash. That's actual cash, barrels of cash. It's insane. It's ridiculous. It should have never been made. But we will be talking about it.
And what about, Mr. President, what about Michael Cohen? Are you considering a
Thank you very
Michael
much.
Cohen?
Stupid question. Go ahead. Anybody else, please?
What will you tell the president about the Iran nuclear deal?
Je vais juste dire, donc je suis très heureux pour ma part d'être là. Nous avons en effet beaucoup de choses à discuter sur les relations bilatérales, les sujets commerciaux comme les sujets internationaux. Sur l'Iran, nous allons inscrire ce sujet dans les défis de la région. Il y a
I can try talking along live, though I don't know what he's saying because it's French. It worked pretty well earlier on. He's relaxed, I think.
Situation en Syrie, il y a la sécurité de toute la région. Et je crois que nous partageons un objectif commun en tout cas, qui est d'éviter une escalade et d'éviter qu'il y ait une prolifération nucléaire dans la région. Et donc la question c'est de savoir quel est le meilleur chemin. Donc j'inscrirai la question iranienne dans l'agenda de la région. What I just said is that Iran deal is an important issue, we'll discuss about that, but we have to take it as a part of a broader picture, which is security in the overall region. And we have the Syrian situation, we have the common in Iraq, we have the stability to preserve our alliance in the region, and what we want to do is to contain the Iranian presence in the region, and JCPOA is part of this broader picture.
It just seems that no matter where you go, especially in the Middle East, Iran is behind it. Wherever there's trouble, Yemen, Syria, no matter where you have it, Iran is behind it. And now, unfortunately, Russia is getting more and more involved. But Iran seems to be behind everything where there's a problem. And you just have to take a look. You look at what's happening, you look at the fighters. Iran is always there, and we're not going to allow certain things to happen that are happening, and the Iran deal is a disaster. They're testing missiles, and what is that all about? You look at the ballistic missiles that they're going and testing. What kind of a deal is it where you're allowed to test missiles all over the place? What kind of a deal is it when you don't talk about Yemen and you don't talk about all of the other problems that we have with respect to Iran, especially look at what they're doing in Iraq. You just take a look at what's happening in virtually any place in the Middle East. Iran is behind it. So what kind of a deal is this where it wasn't even discussed? And I know John Kerry made the statement that he didn't want to discuss other things while he was making the deal. Despite all of the money that we gave them, he didn't want to discuss it because it was too complicated. That's not the way to do it because it was too complicated. So we made this terrible deal, but we'll be discussing it.
But the Iranians say they'll restart their nuclear program if the deal
We'll find out. You'll find out about that.
Are you concerned
It won't
about
be
that?
so easy for them to restart.
Mr. President, are you...
They're not going to be restarting anything. They restart it, they're going to have big problems, bigger than they've ever had before. And you can mark it down. They restart their nuclear program, they will have bigger problems than they have ever had before. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Excuse me?
Well, let's reflect upon this then. This is really new news. It's totally new, fresh. To adjust this a bit to look cool, of course. So, it seems to me like Iran has a right to produce nuclear energy. They've signed the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. And according to some, they have agreed to allow inspections in all of their facilities. And perhaps it's best to allow that. I mean, preventing a third Jesuit World War is more important. It would be horrible, 7-year nuclear winter, and Russia is an ally of Iran. So that's one thing, I think, because scalar weapons have made nuclear weapons obsolete. Perhaps no one without a Tesla plasma shield would survive. And it would be an abomination, horrible, if the humans would do that to themselves, to their fellow humans. So there's also no point in firing back yet. It's automatic, basically. so I hope they've made it super safe so that nothing can go wrong with the nuclear weapons. The question is also if nuclear weapons are real. If you think they're fake, then let us know in the comments, please. You can see these nuclear test videos with what according to some are fake plastic trees, and they are taken in another shot and they look different than the other trees that are in that nuclear test videos, in some of them in that nuclear test video, I mean. And also Kate Bush also sang about chips of plutonium are twinkling in every lung since the atomic tests. Bananas are also radioactive, supposedly, so how bad is it, and what is the good type and the bad type? Is it real or is it some kind of hoax? I have a Geiger counter, but that doesn't mean that I believe in radioactivity. But I've heard the story that also the cloudbusters are effective in breaking it down. And how can there already grow things in Hiroshima and Nagasaki so soon after they did supposed nuclear attack there, etc. So there are perhaps some loose ends with nuclear energy as well. And I try to just have an open mind and study it all. And when I find evidence that proves it one way or another, then I'll let you all know. I've also made a list of conspiracy facts, and of course I advise you all again to watch the video 10 depopulation methods and countermeasures, ways to survive them yourself and for your family. So spread the information for the human race as a whole. We must get control of the factors that control aging, so we have no time for war and that type of thing. Israel has missile shields, so there's no way that Iran could pose any threat to Israel, not even with nuclear weapons. They have the Iron Dome, and also the Bernard Eastland Harp patent explains fully how they can ward off these nuclear missiles. And there are no missiles fast enough to get through a Tesla plasma shield, nothing can. And there's only one picture of a Tesla plasma shield online. And theoretically they can generate it anywhere and they can use it as a shield, besides all the other missile shields, THAAD and other things I've read about in the past. Because I've been busy with universal peace for a long time, and I'm not affiliated with anybody. I am operating independently, I'm unbiased, so I criticize everything heavily, and I think that's possible because of the safety of the system that we have, people driving on the right side of the road to get faster from A to B thanks to the internet. Many people are educated, so I think our intelligence, our IQ, average IQ, is increasing as well, despite all the attempts to dumb us down with the killer vaccines, etc. There are people that are aware of their depopulation methods that help to expose them and do the right thing. Some of them are controlled opposition, which means they prevent real resistance and round up real resistance to the Jesuits and Masons' plans to impose a Satanic Luciferian totalitarian global government upon the people of planet Earth. Supposedly this is their leader, so that's also interesting to show that in this broadcast. Oh yeah. Make it more grave. This is Citizens Action Network. It's written at the bottom. I don't know if that's the original source, and if this is true. There are people that deny it, but they claim they do this from behind the scenes to control. This is the man that some people claim of, that he rules the world, that he is the most powerful man on earth, Adolfo Nicholas. And if that's true, then he's probably the man responsible for the dental torture and the murder of my mother with directed energy weapons. But the problem is that nobody can prove it. No one can prove electronarcosis, so that's something that must be worked on. Like making these voice-to-skull messages audible, which may be scalar waves. not microwaves, which is the misconception that lots of targeted individuals have. Though they can generate microwaves as well with these scalar waves. They can generate several types of radiation, ionizing and non-ionizing radiation, etc. So that means also nuclear, so they could fake a nuclear attack and then make it look as if it's contaminated with their death ray of Nikola Tesla with wireless energy. Is that in theory? Don't know if I should place in theory after this. Let me know in the comments, or Skype Prologic number 999, so Prologic 999, to be live in this broadcast for universal peace, which we really need with all these weapons of self-destruction surrounding us all. It sucks. And I myself and many other people are for dismantling all these nuclear weapons. It's still cheaper than the Third Jesuit World War. So I have to be negative about all of them until I figured out who did it. I made a list about the directed energy weapon torture attacks, and I think it's relevant in relation to avoiding a Third Jesuit World War. So it's a good idea to never work with terrorists. That means they will kill you and get rid of you after you help them to leave no trace of evidence. They have no conscience, so to speak. To never give in to their torture, etc. Scrolling down. The NASA scams total cost 183 billion, but in total they already have $1 trillion of the taxpayer money. And you can read more about it or watch my video, of course, on this channel, the Future channel on YouTube. I'm looking for a specific part. More stuff for universal peace.
It is clear all these shootings to push their legal gun ban in violation of the Constitution were not prevented with synthetic telepathy, possible directed energy weapon torturers that dental tortured me. 1. Skull and Bones. The torture started under former President Bush, well-known Skull and Bones member. He was accused of treason by many, and it turned out Iraq did not have any chemical weapons of self-destruction, which was their reason for their depleted uranium war crime and 1 million dead Iraqi people. A photoshopped image of Bush on the electric chair and things I said that were religiously and morally motivated must have peed them off. 2. The Dutch King, Bilderberg member. Because the perpetrator is a Dutch-speaking male, and I wrote the Dutch King a letter in which I advised him to carry, and he or whoever answers the emails for him may have taken it the wrong way and perhaps saw it as a threat. The computer with the email reply was stolen in the Twat van Swinden Street in Amsterdam. 3. Other Bilderberg members against whom I have attempted to press charges. Kissinger and others were on the list. George Soros was not on the list of the depopulators that incited people openly to commit genocide against the human race as a whole, is still proven by their book quotes beyond any reasonable doubt. To this day they have not been charged with any crime, though they are responsible for the deaths of millions of people. 4. Leader of the Jesuits Adolfo Nicolas, supposedly controlling the intelligence agencies including NSA, FSB and Mossad from behind the scenes. It is probable only an intelligence agency can remotely monitor and even alter brain waves. Milok patent. and use FIPA through-the-wall radar to attack people extremely accurately, so it is extremely likely an intelligence agency is involved. The connections between the NSA and AIVD evidently exist. Pedo pimp hunters rise up, wondering if these pedo hunters only exist to make sure there is no competition for the pedophile pimps. Hopefully most pimps are not pedo pimps that would have sex with children younger than 16. Perhaps the age of consent should be at least 18 years of age in countries where it is not. Fruit of the groom. There must be a law against counter-protest at the same time and same place. If it is not there already, it must be made. There must be a law against counter-protests to keep protests peaceful and safe. Sunday, 22nd of April 2018, 14:38. 23 degrees Celsius, ice cream, dipping cold water, swimming, funeral, the beach, bergamot. It is immoral to pretend there is something, an entity, higher than the humans because there is not proven by the fact that the Bible is a collection of plagiarized, polytheistic myths. Publish hit T, completely nude is hotter. The Tao of Love is a bit like Japan's Forbidden Colors. April 24, 2018, Toronto van attack supposedly killed 10 people. Not one picture of a dead victim and not one spat of blood on the supposed murder vehicle. Impossible and thus suspicious. This time they were liberal with yellow plastic blankets and yellow tape, so it's possible they're killing people and claim they were killed in fake attack. It is immoral to pretend there is something, an entity, higher than the humans because there is not proven by the fact that the Bible is a collection of plagiarized, polytheistic myths rolled into monotheism. April 24, 2018, Toronto van attack supposedly killed 10 people. Not one picture of a dead victim and not one spat of blood on the supposed murder vehicle. Impossible and thus suspicious. This time they were liberal with yellow plastic blankets and yellow tape, so it's possible they're killing people and claim they were killed in fake attacks. These are my thoughts about it. I am not claiming anything yet. They know almost no one will investigate these fake attacks. If there would be 10 dead people, their names would surely be reported by the news, wouldn't they? With all these crisis actors reported by many people, more and more people think whatever CNN and other major MSM broadcasting companies report is fake news anyway. They have to remove the grills of the supposed murder cars to hide there is no blood, since they cannot put on the fake blood while driving because someone might film the car. Safety cams everywhere. Others reported they turn off people's safety cameras somehow, wireless energy probably, during these supposed attacks and possibly during other events, robberies, murders they orchestrate, as well. Theoretically it could also be a real attack. Just thinking about how you could prove it was real, how many police would have to be bribed if this was another fake attack. If it was fake, there would not be any real dead bodies on the street unless someone placed them there. And no one would check if these people were really buried by digging up the bodies. So there would have been loads of blood on the hood of the cancer-causing detonatorless van if it really killed 10 people and injured 15 others. Also, the grill would be smashed into the car, not tripped off. Thought of this after the broadcast. If the attacks are fake, then the suspect, Alec Manasjian, may be innocent in reality. Mark Saunders, Toronto police chief, said the suspect had not been known to police previously. The Telegraph reported, "Is this supposed attack related to the G7? My love wears 4-bit, 10 colors." Response to the video, Toronto van attack fake or real? 130 views on Tuesday the 24th of April, 1456, 8 George? No blood on the van or sidewalk that killed and mowed down 10 people? Pablo 1 minute ago. Look at this video. https://www.youtube.com/watch v equals rim-lqd. Look at the dummy at 034. Look at 030 how they are pumping the other dummy. What is doing? You don't give chest pumps like that. The van's grill is removed. Where are the pieces? We see loads of drive-through attacks, but I have never seen a person that drove in on a crowd because of a heart attack. Family fun with deepfakes. SvenchaEarlier.com. 2.5 million years since the first humans began appearing. 70 years average lifespan per generation means 35,714.29 generations of humans existed before us. Fill in any number you like.
Okay. So these are some pictures that I've used for the video about the NASA hoaxes. That's also a good video to watch. My father is coming up with dinner. I've cleaned my desk. And I need some more tea. So I'm for whatever is best for universal peace. And I hope that Trump or others do not overreact and don't overspend like predicted in The Simpsons. They may be Freemasons, and all Freemasons worship Lucifer. Lucifer is their god, their deity. But I've made clear in reality there is no deity. So watch out. Religion is slavery for the mind. Religion is an illusion. Religion is an abomination. So I don't agree with President Trump on another trillion for revising nuclear weapons. New nuclear weapons. And I'm for spending that on controlling the factors that control aging instead. And of course I'm totally against it if they would make fake trips to Mars that the taxpayers would have to pay for. If they pay for it themselves, then that's another matter, and it's pretty cool. Once we have control of the factors that control aging, then we have an eternity to get to Mars and to live happily eternally on Mars. And perhaps if we knew what's going to happen, then we'd all be attempting to control the factors that control aging. Perhaps we need to look at older people more. But many people hate aging, they hate death, because death is what is causing it, of course, not life force, life energy. So how to solve this in a peaceful manner? Well, I've started the broadcast with how to solve this in a peaceful way. And trust no one, nothing is what it seems. Recovery begins with non-compliance. To quote Control the Position David Icke. So I'm not saying that they're never saying wise things or anything like that. So all we are saying is give peace a chance. So perhaps it's best if I finish this video with John Lennon's statement about peace. I see no other resolve.
Peace, 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 peace. Peace, like eat for peace, breathe for peace, and peace, peace, peace. Peace in your mind, peace on earth, peace at work, peace at home, peace in the world. It's to try and get people orientated to think peace, like eat for peace, breathe for peace, and dance for peace, and make love for peace, you know, to just have the peace like a mantra going round and round in your head.
Universal peace now. Universal peace now. This is Donald Trump. Prevent a two-state solution. World by any means necessary. Included in the two-state solution agreement that the allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene if they go to war with each other to prevent a two-state solution. World universal peace now. Peace to you, Rick. Thank you for your idea for universal peace. universal peace. Now,
Real John David Wills paid no Philly yacht. Real John David Wills paid no Philly yacht. The government is criminal, okay? The government is criminal.
I, Donald Trump, am going to stop spending money on the stupid fucking military and start spending for universal peace.
Yeah, they have this nano fog. You can Google it all. So they should stop nano fogging the populace. I hear ya, I hear ya. I agree totally with what President Trump just said. Absolutely.
I'm Donald Trump. I own the Miss Universe pageant, and I'm here to answer your questions.
Real John David Wills paid no Philly yacht.
Universal peace. Now,
Okay. I think that will do for now. Hope you all found it funny. It's, well, I think it's a reasonable broadcast. Let me know what you all think in the comments. What is the best way to create universal peace? How to promote controlling the factors that control aging. Implementing synthetic telepathy so they cannot basically, so the evidence becomes available in court, and so people can never attack a fellow human being again if we're already based in that radiation and they're already doing that. Also directed energy weapon torture, which is clear from all the directed energy weapon torture testimonies, then they might as well do that basically. And of course with synthetic telepathy they can also make the lion lie with the lamb and things like that. That's all possible. The fake scalar messiah. But is it what we really want, or do we just want justice served so that the good people get rewarded and the bad people get punished, to create a good timeline and perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally as fast as possible? Dinner is served. You're on YouTube, you are live. Would you like to say anything to the YouTube viewers? Do you think we're better off without the nuclear agreement? Could it be used as an excuse to attack Iran or to start the third Jesuit World War? Or is there nothing in the agreement that would allow them to inspect all their military facilities, whether they're nuclear or not?
I haven't really studied that problem.
Oh, I think
I know a lot to say about these things.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm cooking in the kitchen.
Well, I think it's best if they just allow inspectors to inspect their facilities. They may be scanned for cameras and other things. That is because otherwise they can never find out if it's a nuclear facility unless they have through the wall radar, FIPA, frequency independent phased array antennas, and then they already know for sure. And then they could use that evidence they have to do these inspections. So I'm for any solution that prevents a third Jesuit World War. We want to make it better. We want to make things better, not worse than they already are, and certainly prevent a crisis big enough to impose a Satanic Luciferian totalitarian global government upon all people of planet Earth after depopulating them to 500 million. which is the goal of some of these people out there. And therefore many people think these people are psychotic. They have unrealistic goals. They wanted to do this before the year 2000 already. And that's a Global 2000 memorandum or whatever. More evidence via my main website universalpeace.jimdo.com. Okay, then I'm now gonna stop streaming and start screaming for universal peace. For a better future for everyone. It makes sense. Don't do it unless you can control the outcome. What otherwise things could I possibly say? To find out who's the dictator, look at what is censored. History is written by the victor, so we cannot trust anything or believe in anything we read in any book. People can make up anything. You can't make this up. And I think an independent team should be there that also gets equipment to stop any illegal directed energy weapon torture, and that takes care, that watches with through-the-wall radar and or scalar detectors if scalar waves are used in any way to modify people's brain waves and or torture people remotely.